911, what's your emergency?
She was 17, creative, and alive online. Within hours, her murder became viral content. Utica, New York, July 14th, 2019. The summer air was heavy, the streets quiet in the early hours. Bianca Devins, 17 years old, had just returned from a concert in Queens with Brandon Clark, a 21-year-old man she had met months earlier online. To her family, Bianca was a bright, creative teenager, known for her pastel hair, her love of anime, and her growing presence on social media. To Clark, she was an obsession. The drive back to Utica was tense. Witnesses later recalled Clark's jealousy during the night, his anger at Bianca speaking with another man at the show. By dawn, the car pulled into a neighborhood street. Inside, the argument escalated. Clark's words grew sharp, Bianca's replies defensive. Then silence broke into violence. At 7:20 a.m., Clark dialed 911. His voice was flat, mechanical. "I killed my girlfriend," he said. Dispatchers traced the call to a dead-end street. When officers arrived, they found a black SUV parked awkwardly. The rear door was open. Inside lay Bianca Devins, her throat cut, her body covered with a tarp. Clark was nearby, standing with a phone in his hand. He had already uploaded photographs of Bianca's body to Discord and Instagram, sending them to friends and strangers. The images spread within minutes, shocking her community and horrifying her family. Police moved quickly. Clark attempted to stab himself as officers approached, but he was subdued. He was taken into custody, bleeding but alive. Bianca was pronounced dead at the scene. The crime was not hidden. It was broadcast. A murder committed in silence became viral within hours, amplified by the very platforms Bianca had used to express herself. The crime scene was sealed, the SUV cordoned off with yellow tape. Detectives moved quickly, documenting every detail. The tarp covering Bianca's body was lifted only long enough for forensic photographs. Blood pooled across the back seat, staining the upholstery. The knife lay nearby, its blade smeared, bagged, and tagged. Brandon Clark was transported to St. Elizabeth Medical Center under guard. His self-inflicted wounds were shallow, more hesitation than intent. Doctors stabilized him, and within hours detectives began their questioning. Clark's words were flat, rehearsed. "I killed her," he repeated, but when pressed, he added the phrase that would echo through the case: "I wanted to die with her." Investigators traced Clark's digital footprint. His phone contained images of Bianca's body, uploaded to Discord servers and Instagram stories. Friends of Bianca had already seen them, horrified, some calling police before the official reports spread. The virality of the crime complicated the investigation. Evidence was not confined to the SUV, but scattered across the internet. Detectives interviewed witnesses from the concert. They confirmed Clark's jealousy, his anger at Bianca speaking with another man. The timeline was reconstructed. Departure from Queens, arrival in Utica, argument in the car, the killing around dawn. By evening, Clark was formally charged with second-degree murder. The evidence was overwhelming: photographs, witness testimony, forensic confirmation. Yet the brutality of the act and its broadcast made the case more than a local homicide. It was already national news. Bianca's family was notified. Her mother, Kim, collapsed upon hearing the words. Her younger sister, Olivia, was shielded from the details, but the images circulating online made protection impossible. The investigation had secured its suspect, but the damage was spreading far beyond the crime scene. The arrest of Brandon Clark moved swiftly into pre-trial proceedings. Prosecutors assembled evidence: the knife recovered from the SUV, the photographs Clark had uploaded, the autopsy confirming Bianca's fatal wound. Detectives compiled witness statements from the concert, reconstructing the timeline with precision. But outside the courtroom, the case was already viral. Strangers debated Bianca's life, her choices, and her death. For her family, the cruelty was relentless. Her mother received anonymous messages containing the crime scene photos. Her younger sister, Olivia, was forced to see classmates share the images as jokes. The investigation was not only forensic, it was digital damage control. Prosecutors faced a challenge: how to try a case that had already been judged in the court of public opinion. Clark's defense attorneys hinted at mental instability, suggesting his obsession with Bianca had spiraled into delusion. But the prosecution emphasized intent. Clark had planned his actions, documented them, and broadcast them. By fall, the case drew national coverage. News outlets highlighted the intersection of violence and social media. Commentators asked how platforms could allow images of murder to circulate unchecked. Lawmakers in New York began drafting proposals to criminalize the distribution of graphic crime scene photos. Inside the courthouse, Bianca's family attended hearings quietly. They listened as prosecutors outlined the evidence, as defense attorneys requested psychiatric evaluations, as judges weighed motions. Each session reopened wounds. Each detail reminded them of the morning Bianca's life ended. The trial was not yet underway, but the stage was set. Evidence was strong, public outrage was growing, and the name Bianca Devins had become a symbol of youth, of vulnerability, and of the dangers of obsession amplified by technology. New York, 2020. The courtroom was tense. Family members sat in the front rows, reporters lined the back, and Brandon Clark entered in shackles, his expression flat. The charge was clear: second-degree murder. The victim, Bianca Devins. Prosecutors opened with the timeline. They displayed Bianca's final hours: the concert, the drive home, the argument in the SUV. They showed photographs of the crime scene, the knife recovered, and the digital trail Clark left behind. The jury listened as detectives described finding him bleeding beside Bianca's body, his phone filled with images of the killing. Forensic experts testified. They confirmed Bianca's fatal wound, a deep cut across her throat, consistent with the knife Clark carried. They explained the autopsy findings: no defensive wounds, suggesting she was overpowered quickly. The evidence was precise, clinical, undeniable. The defense countered with claims of mental instability. They argued Clark's obsession had spiraled into delusion, that he had acted in despair rather than intent. But prosecutors pressed the point. Clark had documented his actions, uploaded photographs, and confessed on the 911 call. His words, "I killed my girlfriend," were played in court. Bianca's family sat silently as witnesses described her final moments. Her mother wept quietly. Her sister held her hand. Each testimony reopened the wound, each detail a reminder of the morning Bianca's life ended. By early 2021, Clark entered a guilty plea. The evidence was overwhelming, the public outrage unrelenting. On March 16, 2021, the judge pronounced sentence: 25 years to life in prison. Clark showed little emotion. His words remained the same: "I wanted to die with her." The verdict delivered closure in law, but not in grief. Bianca was gone, and her family carried the weight of both justice and loss. The sentencing of Brandon Clark closed the courtroom chapter, but it did not end the story. For Bianca's family, the grief was permanent, sharpened by the cruelty of the images that continued to circulate online. Even after Clark was imprisoned, strangers sent her mother graphic photos of the crime. Each message reopened the wound, each reminder proof that the violence had escaped containment. Public outrage grew into advocacy. Bianca's family pushed for legislation to protect victims from post-mortem exploitation. In 2022, Bianca's law was signed in New York, making it illegal for law enforcement officers to share graphic crime scene images outside official purposes. The law carried her name, a measure of dignity in the face of relentless exposure. Meanwhile, Bianca's case became a national example of how obsession and technology can collide. Documentaries, podcasts, and law reviews dissected the timeline: a teenager's life, a jealous companion, a murder broadcast in real time. Scholars pointed to the gaps in digital safeguards. Forensic re-examinations highlighted the brutality of the act, but also the vulnerability of Bianca herself. She was young, trusting, and immersed in online communities where Clark first found her. The case became a warning of how quickly admiration can turn to fixation and fixation to violence. Her family carried her memory forward. Photographs of Bianca remained in their home, her artwork preserved, her name spoken in vigils. Each anniversary brought candles and flowers, reminders of a life cut short but not forgotten. The legacy was twofold: a conviction that delivered legal justice, and a debate that reshaped conversations about crime, technology, and the fragility of safety in a digital age. The wider world absorbed the case as a warning. Scholars dissected the trial, pointing to the dangers of obsession, the fragility of online boundaries, and the failures of platforms to contain violence. Documentaries replayed the timeline: the concert, the drive, the killing, the broadcast. Each retelling sharpened the question: how could a private act of violence become a public spectacle within minutes? Bianca's law stood as a legislative marker, proof that her name carried weight beyond tragedy. It symbolized a demand for dignity, a refusal to allow victims to be reduced to images. Yet even with reform, the case remained unresolved in spirit. The photographs still surfaced, the debate still raged, the grief still lingered. Bianca Devins' story became more than a local crime. It became a national example of how fragile justice can be when violence collides with technology. A young woman's final call, a trial that ended in conviction, and a legacy of doubt and advocacy that continues to haunt the record.